So good afternoon, guys. Another little short video. This is another recent acquisition. This is Pegas, is what he is called. He was bred by Loft in New York. He was owned by a good friend. He's unfortunately having to get out of the sport. And if you're on the hunt for some really good pigeons right now and the opportunity to get some actual proven stock, not untested stuff, kind of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, Mel is selling out. So if you go visit melsloft.com, he has some really good deals on his proven stock birds. He's got birds that are off of champions. He's got birds that have produced OLR winners. And basically everything is for sale. This is another Poortvliet bird. This guy is a son of one of the Poortvliet import cocks, directly from Jacob Poortvliet. And his mother is Jacob's Apollo, who was 46th at Hoosier a few years ago. And I'm actually in the process of working a deal out with Mel. I'm going to own Jacob's Apollo here soon. I'm gonna have her and one of the Poortvliet import cocks. I was able to get my pick, but super nice pigeon. He's not calming down in the cage too much here. He's been in one of these quarantine cages since he got here, but now that I've moved him, he's kind of very antsy. Really nice pigeon. Good one-pin tail. Strong back. Lovely feather, closed vent, just a nice all-around bird. Kind of with these Poortvliet birds, a lot of them very, very similar. He looks like his mother, Apollo. Very successful bloodline from the Netherlands. Jacob Poortvliet has been a very consistent flyer in the Netherlands for many years now. Even had some health problems and bounced back and came kind of right back out on top. In 2019, he bred Frau Auntie, who was considered the fastest pigeon in the Netherlands out of almost, I think, with 33,000 pigeons she flew against that year. And she had the fastest speed in the Netherlands that year. And Frau Auntie is his grandmother. In fact, all of the Poortvliet birds I have come down from Frau Auntie. So he's a little rattled right now and kind of messing his tail up because he just wants out of there. But a really, really nice pigeon. Just kind of a show off. I will put a photo of him and his pedigree in the post section. And in other news, Hoosier finally had their first race. Didn't see a good result, personally. I had 3 out of 5 pigeons, kind of top third, top half. 2 of them were late, didn't turn up on the day. One of them did come back the day after. One of them is not been back, so is a loss. So I'm down to 4 pigeons at Hoosier right now, 4 out of 6. So that's kind of a bummer, especially after you pay the activation fee and then you suddenly, don't have the good result and you wind up losing one and almost lose a second one. Somewhat similarly, over at Little Loft on the Hill, they flew birds over there. Once again, as I've kind of had going on, I keep having my cock bird keeps losing to all the hens. I should have sent a hen, I guess, because the hens are just kicking our asses. But they had a tough race down there from Winnemucca yesterday. Not a lot of day birds. Had about 63% return for Little Loft on the Hill, but the combine only had about 36% returns. Temperatures were high. They were like 97 degrees. So really, really tough race. I'm happy my bird, I think he was 17th in the Auburn Club, which is not great, but at least he did come back, and he was a day bird, and he was the first cock back in, which is kind of what he normally does. He's always behind those hens. So that's kind of what's going on with that. But like I said, if you go over to Little Loft on the Hill, you'll see, hopefully the next day or so, you'll see some video on that race. Really, really tough race for folks. I know there's a couple of you that routinely watch. I think your birds are still missing, or at least they were as of yesterday evening. But and I'm unfortunately down with the flu, so if I sound kind of raspy and all that, that's why, as I'm really, really flu-y, and we've got flu in the household. It's some sort of respiratory stuff with a lot of joint pain and stuff like that. I seem to be over the worst of it, but it's just kind of persisting with some congestion and just kind of some scratchiness in the throat. And if it wasn't for that, the other interesting thing going on, you'll notice there is a clear space over there. There's been some changes. The racing loft is gone. We took it out. Had my hired help in last week. We took the racing loft out for rebuilding. We've got to do some clearing still and move this pile of debris over here that's been stacked. It's the base of that old 10 by 10 in the racing loft. And once that's done and that corner's cleared, I'm going to start building the new race loft. So it's going to be, I think, 12 by 14 is the plan. At least on that wing. And they're going to be 12 by 14 there, and then there'll be another 14-foot wing on the back side as part of the main breeding loft. So that's kind of the thing to look forward to. Is going to be working on that here pretty soon. I've actually got some of the lumber here to start the base on that. So I mean, it's not too far away. Probably would have had a start if it wasn't for the flu, but such is the way it is. That stuff is kind of going around all over the country from what I hear. Just about everybody I talk to, regardless of where they're at, West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, everybody's got it. So it's just kind of is what it is. So kind of running behind on that. And other than that, just not doing anything. I still have my two Splash Black Widow hens still flying around. Now it's going to be a little tougher because they can't go back to the racing loft because it's gone, and I still don't know where they're roosting at night. I've looked all over, and they're here every day, but where they roost, I have no idea. I don't know if they found some way to get inside of some sort of interior cubby hole in some building around here, and they're just kind of holed up. I'm going to probably design some sort of trap and try to trap them off the roof during the day and just use some feed and water and do it that way. And hopefully I'll get them back. Because if not, eventually something's going to happen to them, or they're just going to probably fly off. You know, they're getting food out from underneath some of the individual pens that get scattered. But I mean, that's probably pretty slim pickings with some of the chickens around getting most of it. So hopefully I can get those two hens and preserve those two last Black Widow hens. It did turn out I had one more, but she's not a pedigreed bird, so that was kind of a concern to keeping the Black Widow birds going, as I've got one hen, which was one of the first hens I had, that she is still on the go and survived the adeno. Plus I've got two cock birds, and it'd be nice to save a few. And after all these last few years, if not, having a total waste and losing all of them. But that is it, guys. Like I said, look in the post section. I will put his pedigree and photo up. He's still kind of pacing back and forth here. So that is it, guys. I will see you next time.